Hello everybody, my name is Phil and welcome to Miranda Detailing, where we make satisfying detailing videos, and welcome to another weekend wash. So today we're going to wash our vehicle and talk to you guys about some detailing related stuff. So just a little bit of citrus washing gloss in the wheel bucket. Now I know this looks like Meguiar's, it's just an old bottle. This is 3D's Super Citrus APC, diluted to its pretty much strongest level. It's about 4 ounces, 4.5 ounces to a gallon, about 1 to 32 dilution ratio. Still very, very strong. So this stuff is awesome. So we just have our simple bucket. I have 2 mitts. And we're going to put just maybe 2 ounces of Chemical Guys Mr. Pink. That's probably a little bit more than I needed, but no problem. Alright, our car is now washed. I dried it. I kind of want to play around with AM clay. So I'm just going to break off a little piece of the brand new clay bar here and basically just kind of try it out on this panel here. It's not horribly contaminated. It's still pretty smooth, but towards the bottom it gets a little crunchy. So let's break off a little piece of this, and we're going to use the clay as intended without a dedicated clay lube, just water. All right, AM clay. The brand new package, so let's figure out how to open this. Here we go. Very carefully, use your razor. And it's taped here as well. All right. Very nicely and precisely packaged. All right. I can tell already it's a different type of clay than I'm used to. Something about it just feels different. So let's break off a little piece. It's weird. It actually smells like that putty, that play putty that I used to play with as a kid. It's a very distinct smell. It's mild, it's not overpowering. You can tell it's very, very stringy. It stretches, so it's really malleable. Really interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. You can just feel it's different. It's more stretchy than your usual clay. So let's test it out on our panel here. Everything is washed. It's dried now. It's not bad, right? You don't really hear much. My hand's kind of squeaking across the surface here. I don't have a lot of protection on here anyway, but that's another story. Down here, it gets a little crunchy, so not horrible. So we'll see if the clay picks up anything. It's just water. So very simple, just water. And we're going to kind of test out how it feels on the surface, what it picks up. So here's the clay before. Nice and white, clean. It glides nicely on the water, just, you know, it's usual. I mean, even a regular clay bar would probably do that. The only difference, I guess, would be on sensitive cars. You know, you want to be careful. The paint could be really soft and it would mar, it would scratch just a little bit, which I think clay bars kind of do that anyway. But look what it picked up. I couldn't really feel it on the paint, but it definitely picked up maybe some tar bits, and you can kind of see all over it. It's definitely picking up contaminants. And it feels nice and smooth. It feels nice. So let's go a little further down here, and we will re-knead the clay. It kneads really nice and malleable, nice and soft and kind of stretchy. So, new piece. And let's see what it will pick up all the way down here. Now I'm not putting any pressure, I'm just holding it onto the paint so that it doesn't fly out of my hand. But I'm not using pressure. I'm just keeping it on the paint surface here. Let's go all the way down here. There's actually, oh man, yep, they were repaving, and there's actually some nasty asphalt down there that's attached to the paint. I'm not going to try to attack it with this. But yeah, it picked up some stuff and it embedded it in the bar. So that's good. So let's re-knead it. And what I try to typically do is I've seen some detailers do it and do it this way, where they simply clay bar and then they just flip it and use the other side. So now you have two dirty sides. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think dirty one side up and then fold it within itself. That way you're keeping all that grit inside and you keep folding it within itself and folding it within itself. So that nasty clay will, be inside. If you're talking about layers, it'll be inside. That way you have fresh clay all the time. If you got both sides dirty, I don't know. How would you knead it enough so that you would, you'd have to like knead it, stretch it, and then like fold it over itself? I don't think that's a good way of doing it. I think get one side dirty, fold it like so, and knead it within itself. And then you have easily a fresh piece, a fresh side available, instead of crumpling up into a ball, stretching it, and doing all that work. Too much work. Much easier this way, in my opinion. So let's do one more pass over the entire section here, just water. There's a little groove in here that I need to make sure the clay bar slides in there and actually picks up contaminants. And I'm going to bring you in a second and show you the condition of the paint. Now, this is not going to be a test of if the clay bar is leaving marring, because this panel is already swirled up like crazy. So you're not going to see the difference. So it picked up some more. A few more little bits in the paint. So knead it in like so. Stretch it out a little bit. Fresh piece. So let's go further down here. Do another couple of passes down here. See if I can catch anything else. I think that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. It's not picking up anything substantial at all. Some little bits here and there. Probably because I went over into this panel. So this whole panel is now deconned with the clay bar. So let's dry it, and I want to bring you in and show you the condition of this panel in particular, because in later videos we're going to start correcting all of the panels on my vehicle. So the condition of the paint is pretty horrible. I'm not even going to put the light on it because it's so bad. Still a little wet here. That's all, just residual. Now I'm going to show you something on the panel here. Just something of note. You see that right there? Right there. That is a little dust nib, or a clear coat dribble of some sort. I think it's actually a dust nib. Now, when we purchased the vehicle, if you want to check out that first video, kind of like our first detail on the video, click up on the card in the upper right hand corner. Because I kind of inspect the paint, and when we first bought the vehicle, the Carfax or whatever, the info that they gave us said that it was clean, it didn't have any paint jobs, it didn't have any accidents, nothing like that. Well, I'm not going to buy that completely. I don't think that is true. When I came home and used the paint depth gauge, the hood, the fender, and I believe these two doors as well were repainted. I have no idea why, if it was an accident, if it was just maybe graffiti, it got keyed and they just had to, paint it. But keep that in mind, guys, when you're buying a vehicle, or if you're looking over a customer's vehicle. Notice things like that. Notice little dust nibs. Here's another one. Yep, it's almost like a little indent. So that's a little dust nib. Keep an eye out for things like that. You will see it when the light hits it. and you'll be able to determine, if this part of the vehicle or this panel or whatever was repainted. Keep an eye out for that. Those can most likely be fixed if you were to wet sand them down a little bit. I'm not worried about it. If the customer is worried about it, I may try to, reduce that a little bit so it doesn't stand out as much. But I just had a customer come in for an estimate on his vehicle, and right away I saw dust nibs like that on the hood, and he bought it not knowing that the hood was repainted because nobody said anything at the dealer. So, unfortunately, that's just what happened. So keep an eye out for that, guys, on your own vehicle. If you're buying a new or used vehicle, even a brand new vehicle, your eye will go to that. So, learn what those marks are. Dust nibs basically from clear coat. When they clear coated the panel, a little piece of dust got in there and they didn't catch it. They never sanded it out, and it stayed in there, and it creates those little pock marks. So yeah, there's another one right there. So the whole hood and the rest of the vehicle is kind of peppered with that, but you'd never really see it unless you were to take a camera like I am doing with the lights and really go in and inspect to see what that is. So guys, I am very happy with this. This is super, super smooth. And yeah, Claybar did an awesome, awesome job. And just to kind of satisfy anyone who wants to see this panel up close, those are just dry marks, just from the water drying. But, this panel has a lot of damage. I'm going to have to correct that at some point, so that'll be a fun little project when I start correcting all these panels. It's just, yeah, it's really swirled and kind of trashed, and it was like that anyway. And I did correct the hood already, but I need to just go over it with a quick detailer because the towel left little wiping marks and stuff. But I did correct the hood, but already, you're gonna get some marks in it. That's just the way it is. I'm not super careful with this, and it's been about almost a year since I corrected the hood, and the paint is kind of soft, so it's going to mar. That's just the nature of it. So unless you're going to be extremely careful washing your vehicle, which many people, daily drivers like this, are not going to be because I just don't have the time to do that, you're going to induce marks like that. But those can be easily remedied with a single stage polish. Easy. Not even a problem. So I don't really care at this point. It's my own personal vehicle. I just keep it, relatively clean to look good. And same with the wheels. I actually did take off the wheels in a past video. Cleaned them inside and out, made sure that they were looking nice. And I like the style of these rims. They're really nice looking. So I'm going to quickly go around the vehicle and just kind of wipe it down with Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax. I know, right? I just had like a bunch of these little bottles hanging around, and I used them when I needed on my own vehicle from like the old Claybar kits. I do still like this stuff, and it smells really, really good. So it's enjoyable to use. Oh, it's like fruity. I want to drink it. So I'm going to quickly go around the vehicle. I'll even hit it on the glass. Just take a nice, fresh, clean microfiber towel, and I will just quickly run around the vehicle and make sure to get any little light dry marks that might still be there from the drying process. Alright, so vehicle is now all wiped down with Meguiar's Quick Wax, so it's got some protection on it. And let's go on to the rims and the tires and just kind of wipe those down and get some dressing on the tires and make those tires pop. So I have some smart dressing. I know, kind of bringing out some of the old products here. I've had this for a while. It is a nice product. It's not that great on the exterior trim. It does look nice on tires, but it's not a very long-lasting product. At least it's not what I've found. But it is a nice dressing. It does make things look really nice. And smell that. Smells like coconuts. Yeah, it smells really nice. So let's apply some to the applicator. The tire still has a little bit of residual water, but that's okay. I applied this straight, and a little bit of the water is not going to hurt anything. It might just dilute it just a little bit, but again, not a big deal. Get into that little groove of the tire. Wiping down the rim just to dry it and pick up any little spots that the brush didn't catch. And I like to clean the little inner lip of the wheel well also. So that's really looking nice. Does provide a beautiful gloss. Not super high gloss because I don't like super high gloss, but a nice satin finish. And that'll dry down a little bit. These tires absorb dressing. Any dressing I put on it, it just absorbs it, and it doesn't really produce a high gloss finish anyway. Any of the dressings that I put on here, it just kind of sucks it in. But which, you know, I'm fine with that because at the end, when it's all dried up, it actually looks really, really nice. It just looks like a nice, clean, black rubber tire without being super high glossy and being a little, I don't know, overly glossy. I don't like that look. So now the rims are looking really nice. Alright guys, so our personal vehicle is cleaned, ready for another week. And as time progresses, we will do some correction work on here. We'll show you our process when we start correcting the panels. And I'll be testing out some coatings and some protection as well. That'll be kind of like some nice weekend wash videos for the summer months to come. And because there's all sorts of weird defects in this paint. And I'll kind of bring you along on the journey as we go through each of these panels. And I don't know, maybe try to figure it out together if you guys have any ideas when you see certain marks. You know, there's certain things that as a detailer you know exactly what caused it. The marks that you saw here on the fender after we clay barred it, looks very much like a rotary polisher, rotary buffer with a wool pad hit on this area just kind of quickly. Maybe there were some sanding marks there, maybe denibbing of some sort, but they didn't catch everything, obviously. But yeah, there's a weird mark here that looks like it was definitely caused by a rotary machine. And there's just kind of marks throughout it. So we'll kind of take a look at it together and correct it as we go through our personal vehicle on these weekend washes. So I am really liking AM clay. The type of clay that it is, I don't know what it is, but it's very, very fine. So it's not an aggressive clay at all because it does say it's a fine abrasive, and you can definitely tell that it is a fine clay. Usually with more aggressive clays, you can kind of feel it in the clay itself. But when I took off this little piece here, which I probably shouldn't put it right back here in the bar because it just got stuck to it because I smushed it down. It's an interesting, stretchy type of clay. Really interesting. So maybe the properties of it kind of give it that ability to not push any type of stuff onto the paint to cause any marring. At least that's, in my mind, I kind of think about it that way. That if the clay is very soft and malleable like that, that it's not going to, if it does grab a bit of whatever, grind it into the paint, it's going to kind of absorb it into the clay bar itself and kind of pull it away from the paint. Not sure if that's the technology behind it or not. Just kind of thinking out loud. But pretty interesting stuff. And I'm really happy with it. I'm going to be using this clay specifically for my jobs here at my garage. So like my paint corrections, my one-step polishes here, my coatings, I'll be using this clay specifically. The other clay that I use, it's Mother's clay. I actually really like that stuff too. It's either that stuff or the Meguiar's other white clay, but the Mother's yellow clay seems to be very similar to this. It doesn't have that nice stretchy malleableness like that. It's a little bit different, but it is a very nice fine clay, very easy to work with. So I have tons of it, and I had it on reorder from Amazon for a long time until they discontinued the subscribe and save on it. Don't know why. Maybe because I bought up all of their packages that I had here, and I like that clay. I use that for my mobile job. So this will be for here at the garage. And it's nice because you don't need any special lubricant, just water. So I probably didn't even need to dry the vehicle. If I was going to clay the entire vehicle, which I didn't here, I just did this one panel just to test it. If I was going to do the entire vehicle, I wouldn't dry it. I would just bring it into the garage here after it was washed and rinsed and use extra water as I'm going along the panels and spray more water and use the clay bar. Easy. Now, one tip that I saw one of the detailers do, actually Jim White from White Details, because he uses this clay on all of his jobs, he puts it in a bucket of pretty much hot, boiling, almost boiling water. Of course not boiling, because you would be able to put your hand in there, but super, super hot water, and it makes it really malleable, really, really soft. That probably gets the best, attributes out of this clay to put it in hot water. And I've done that also with the Mother's clay. Same idea. It just becomes super malleable, really easy to use, and that's the beauty of this clay, is the ease of use with it. So that's a kind of a cool tip that I picked up from Jim White over there at White Details, that he uses this clay, puts it in a bucket of hot water, and then uses it on the vehicle, and he just kind of keeps like 1 or 2 bars in there and rotates them as the clay gets kind of cold. In the summer, you really don't have to worry about that too much because it's so hot anyway. The ambient temperature here in Richmond, the humidity and everything, it'll make this clay nice and soft anyway. So that's really not too much of a big deal. But awesome product. I'll be using this more. I'll be putting another video out soon, more in depth, how to clay bar your vehicle, and kind of give you some of the ins and outs of using a clay bar, different types of clay bars too, and show you what they can do. So I have the super fine clay bar from AMDetails, the Mother's, which is a fine clay bar, and I also have Chemical Guy's medium aggressive clay bar. I don't have any of the heavy aggressive clay bar. I might get a bar of it just to kind of show you what the differences are between those clay bars, and also the effects on the paint, what it can do. Maybe what I'll do on my own vehicle is polish a section so that it's nice and crystal clear and perfect, and then use a clay bar on it and see what type of damage it can induce. That'll be kind of an interesting test. So look forward to that in the future. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's weekend wash, and hopefully, got some tips from it, learned some things. Definitely pick up, whoa, everything's okay. Definitely pick up some AM clay. You can actually purchase this at the Car Guy Supply. I have the link down below. Jason at Chicago Auto Pros will hook you up with AM Detail products. They're here in the US now, so yeah, definitely check that out. Link down below. You can grab those products from Chicago Auto Pros. So if you guys haven't already, consider subscribing, clicking that bell. That way you get notifications each time our videos drop each week and you don't miss stuff. And if you're interested in any of the products or the tools that we use, you have 2 options. Either click down below on those links like I mentioned, or click up here. That goes to our dedicated website where we have a page with different products, different tools. You can see the nice pictures of them, click on them, and it will go to Amazon or eBay, so you can purchase those products easily. And if you're interested in any of the apparel that we have shirts, hoodies, my favorite coffee mug for my weekend washes, You can pick all these items up in our online store, so click up there, and don't forget to use Miranda15 for your discount code and get 15% off of everything that is on there, as well as the Detailers cord snaps. So check these guys out. They are great to use for mobile detailers. They come in a pack of 2, and they will either clip onto your shirt like so. I'll demonstrate. Onto your shirt here. Now you can put your polisher cord through there and it keeps it over your shoulder. Or you can clip it onto your belt loop like so. And now you also have the cord control down here, which will go behind your back and over your shoulder so that you have ultimate control of that extension cord, so it's not hitting the paint or anything like that. You can actually fly around the vehicle very, very easily without getting the cord or the extension cord hooked up on anything or that cord falling all over the place. It's just a nice way to keep everything controlled and organized on your person. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Share it with others who may enjoy it as well. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a great week.